Good afternoon. It is Friday, which means that it's time for a weekly check-in. This week's been great. It's gone so quickly. We released 50 and Coping's new episode on Wednesday. That was with Dan, who was a Marine, who is now, I suppose you call him, I hate using the word life coach, but he's a mentor. He's somebody who guides people in higher positions how to move forward. He is an inspiration of a man. I've spoken a lot all over the place about him. My business, my mentoring business, is now doing so well. We have almost full books. I only have one space available during the weeks. But obviously, if you do need to speak to me, those are only the one-to-one appointments that I'm talking about. I do have other slots for Zoom calls, team meetings, or even phone calls, because it's not just about face-to-face, it's also about just checking in. I make sure that I check in with all my customers all the way through the week just to make sure they're all right. People go through different things at different times and find it difficult to process, I suppose. And as a situational mentor, I find myself able to show people a different way of looking, so reframing the situations they're in, so they come to their own conclusions. You know, I told you 100 times I'm not here to make solutions or give solutions, because the solutions are already there. It's important for people to realise that they can, with the right guidance and a bit of help and a bit of a push, can always find their own best path. So remember that. If you're feeling negative at any point, then, you know, try and have a look at all sides of a situation. Try and see how you would best come out of this. Also, please remember that you cannot control outcomes, especially when there are other people involved. There are so many things that take part in every decision, every act, every move forward with the rest of the world, that you can't control it. Anger as well. Anger's cropped up this week, and I have learned something. Anger is simply a reaction to lack of control in situations. When you can't control something, it usually leads to either frustration and anger. So the other thing I will say about life is that you cannot control what people say about you, what people do, how they think, what opinions they have, and nor should you try. It's important to realise that with the way things are in the world at the moment, media feeds you all kinds of different ideas and thoughts, but it's media driven, which means there's an agenda. I think we all have to stay true to ourselves, especially with the likes of digital IDs. You have to remember that if you belong to Facebook or Instagram or any of that, you've already got a digital footprint. Whatever the government agenda is for those ID cards or those digital ID entities, I have no idea. But, you know, obviously it's quite a frightening idea. In the world itself, we're so past George Orwell's 1984 already. You know, in this country, there are more cameras per square inch than anywhere else. We are watched and looked at, but we know that. It's very easy to be drawn into a darker dystopian nightmare scenario than a everyday narrative. So just watch yourself being drawn into that. Obviously, we all need to know what the real agenda for those IDs are, but there are a lot of people who are genuinely frightened of it because they think it will be a control. It may well be. I can't tell you the answers to that, but just be aware that every time you go online, your phone stores and logs everything you do. Every time you walk to the shops and back, your iPhone or your Android phone can tell the world where you've been, how long it took, and what you bought, probably. So just be aware that it's not that different to what's going on. I do see it as a little bit of an infringement of liberty, but then that's the way my brain thinks. This week, the charity as well has received the money to help people with their winter fuel bills. So if you know anyone who is struggling financially, who needs help to turn their heating on this winter, please do push them in Coffee and Coping's way. Right, have an amazing weekend. I will check in with you next week. If there's anything you want me to talk about on these weekly check-ins, let me know.